My fellow veterans, what's up? So, YouTube has brought you here, I'm assuming because you are interested in applying for VR&E. So stay tuned and we'll go over some eligibility requirements and some questions that I've gotten as to whether someone can apply for VR&E. So stay tuned. Before we get to that, if this video helps you out in any way, please give me a thumbs up. And for future content, future videos like this and many other different kinds, subscribe. So first, congratulations, because not enough veterans apply for VR&E. More people need to do it. So for that, I'm just going to give you a, oh yeah? That's for you. So if we go to va.gov, look at the eligibility requirements for VR&E. They're pretty minimum. All of these, the VA says, must be true. You didn't receive a dishonorable discharge, and you have a service-connected disability rating of at least 10%. They set the bar pretty low. If you have these two things, you can apply for VR&E. Now, some of you may ask, well, what if I've already started using my post 9/11 at school? Well, to that I would say, do you meet the eligibility requirements? Then yes, you're still eligible to apply for VR&E. And I know that for a fact, because I actually did that. I had been using my post 9/11 for 2 years probably. I'd been using that for 2 years before I applied for VR&E, and I was still eligible and was still accepted. And others may say, well, what if I transferred my post 9/11 to my wife? To that I would say, do you meet the eligibility requirements? These are two mutually exclusive programs. Just because you have started using or haven't started using or don't have your post 9/11 does not make you ineligible for VR&E. In fact, if you don't have a post 9/11 and you're not already a degree holder, it's going to make it probably more likely that you're approved for VR&E. So yes, you should go apply for VR&E. I will say, if you're looking into applying for VR&E, the best time to do it is before you hold a degree. So you should apply for VR&E to get your bachelor's degree and then use the remainder of your post 9/11 for your master's degree. It's going to be a lot easier it's going to be a lot easier to get approved that way than the inverse. There is one thing to keep in mind. Just because you're eligible for VR&E does not mean that you're going to be approved for VR&E. There is a process that you have to go through in order to be approved for VR&E. You'll be given a counselor, and to that counselor you have to justify why you should be approved for the program. Meeting these two requirements simply means that you're eligible to apply, but there still is more involved with actually getting approved. And I think there's some important information there. So I'm going to make a video on how I got approved and some important information and things that I focused on when I went into my interview with my counselor. But having said that, if you're eligible, you might as well just apply. It's not going to hurt you in any way if you're not approved for VR&E. I know people hear nightmare stories about counselors, and I think a lot of people are afraid to apply. But if you put all of that aside, even if it is true, all that's going to happen is that you're disapproved for the program. So I understand the horror stories, which in my case was not true at all. I had a good experience with my counselor, and I think those horror stories just take a grip on people, but I think probably in most situations are probably good experiences with veterans, in my opinion. But if you're eligible, at least shoot your shot and apply. If you're interested in learning just about some of the bennies, some of the bennies that VR&E offers, I'll post a link to a video that I did a little while back on the bennies of VR&E. And if you're interested in learning more about the approval process and how to get approved, subscribe and stay tuned for that video.